Let me start this video with I do not hate Demon Slayer, nor do I dislike it. My criticism comes from a place of love for this anime and manga. I don't think that any of the manga is perfect, but that applies to all manga. No manga is perfect, and all have their flaws. With that being said, I want to talk about what is apparently the ending of Demon Slayer, the Sunrise Countdown arc, and how I'm extremely disappointed with it. Now, I don't think that season 1 of the anime was perfect. If anything, I dislike the beginning of Demon Slayer, albeit Ufotable did an amazing job of transferring the manga to anime with beautiful animations. It didn't cover up the initial problem with Demon Slayer. When Demon Slayer begins, the story isn't strong. It follows a very basic monster of the week style, and it honestly isn't that interesting. For the most part, each of the first weeks just introduced a new demon that was fought, given mercy, and then they died. There was a lot of routine with it. Things began to change once the Naragumo Mountain arc began. This is when the true story, in my opinion, started. This arc gave us a lot of amazing character development, animation, and story points, and it's really the kickoff for everything to follow up to the end. Rui was an amazing villain, a child demon with his own ideals for what he wanted out of life, trapped in the curse that is being a demon. Even the side villains of this arc were well written, but as I said, this was just the start to the path that was to come. With the end of the Naragumo Mountain arc, we are introduced to a larger world and to a much larger cast that have a wide array of personality in the form of the Hashira. The next big arc to follow this is the Mugen Train arc, the arc which is currently being adapted into a full-length movie, and the Entertainment District arc. I hadn't heard about Demon Slayer until the anime came out, and the teaser at the end of the season with the train piqued my curiosity so much that I couldn't just wait for the movie. This is when I picked up Demon Slayer and started from the beginning. I won't talk about Mugen Train arc in respect of the upcoming movie, nor will I go into detail about the Entertainment District arc, since you've probably already heard from a lot of people how amazing this arc is and how it was the last good arc. But I disagree with that statement. I think everything in between the Naragumo Mountain arc and the Dimensional Infinity Fortress arc are extremely strong and well written. But let's dive deep into exactly why the Sunrise Countdown arc was so disappointing. If you are anime only or just haven't caught up on Demon Slayer, just skip ahead to this time, because we are getting into some manga spoilers. I think that the reason the Sunrise Countdown arc was so disappointing was not only because it had to follow up the amazing arc that was the Dimensional Infinity Fortress arc, but also because it was extremely melodramatic. It usually isn't a bad thing to focus on the story, but the final arc decided to dump a shit ton of information while having the main antagonist do little to nothing. It doesn't sound too bad, except you have to realize that this is on a week-by-week basis of 20-page chapters. When the storytelling of what's going on is taking up about 10 pages per chapter, this completely destroys the pacing. Instead of this really big bad villain showing off his power and putting our heroes through the work, he stands in one place for literally 10 chapters flailing his arms, which is apparently enough to put down the Hashira. Yeah, I got it. They just got out of fights with really strong enemies within the fortress and they're already weakened. But just take a second and think about this. I don't want to compare Demon Slayer to other manga or anime, but for the sake of making my point, I will this time. Imagine if Aizen just stood in one place as he fought Mugetsu Ichigo. Imagine if Madara just stood in one place as he fought Naruto, or even took out a large majority of the Ninja Alliance. Just imagine any major villain standing in one place during the final battle. You work them up to be this big bad enemy, and then the fight is extremely one-sided. It's not even just that the fight is one-sided, but the fact that Muzan knows he's on a time limit, yet he doesn't even try to finish it to get away until it's too late. The idea here is that Muzan is strong enough to stand in one place, flailing his arms, and take out multiple Hashira, but he isn't strong enough to escape towards the start of the fight. It just sounds extremely contrived. And before you bring up the poison flowing through his body, let me address that real quick. The poison seemed like an ass pull to keep an overpowered character from being even more overpowered. It was established early during the Naragumo arc that poison is something usable against demons. So poison in and of itself isn't the ass pull, but the way it was used was. They start off by just saying, hey, there's one thing in this poison that will start to make you human, and then it just keeps progressing. There's nothing earlier on that gives a hint that there were multiple poisons working within this one. So as the heroes need more and more of a crutch, more poisons are revealed. If this was something that would have been revealed in at least a hint earlier, I would absolutely have no problem with it, but it wasn't. I'm not going to comment on the baby form of Muzan, because that's been done 1,000 times, and to me it actually makes sense, since a lot of what is happening with Muzan is in regards to being immortal and wanting to live forever. Reverting to a form that signifies the essence of youth makes sense, at least to me. What I will do, however, is talk about Muzan taking over Tanjiro's body. Does it make sense with what was happening? Yes. Do I think it was done poorly? Yes, Muzan taking over Tanjiro's body lasts a total of 3 chapters, roughly 60 pages, and it just seems so fast for how major of an event it was. How it ends, how Tanjiro pulls himself back to humanity is absolutely amazing. Seeing how Muzan reacts to being denied even though he was offering basically the world to Tanjiro. Chapter 203 was definitely my favorite out of the entire arc. I have a lot of issues with the Sunrise Countdown arc, but the biggest one was pacing. Reading it week by week made it a lot worse, but rereading it altogether wasn't much better. A lot of arguments happen in regards to Demon Slayer, and one of the main defenses is the anime will fix it. I actually agree with this. Ignoring animation by Ufotable completely, the anime should be able to 100% fix the pacing issue with this final arc if they do it correctly. As I said at the beginning of this video, I love Demon Slayer. Love it or hate it, it is okay to have something you enjoy be critiqued. I think that Demon Slayer completely deserves its place as number 1. And the big takeaway from this, us old heads who grew up with Evangelion, Cowboy Bebop, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece, we need to chill. This is a new generation that is growing up on new anime. The things we grew up with aren't going to have the same impact on them as it did with us. There will never be a new big 3, but we can have a next gen 3. But with that, my rant is done. Do you agree with me? Let me know in the comments what you think about Demon Slayer, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe.